Hello, guys. Welcome back to the With a Minute to Go podcast. This is episode 3. So if you've missed the first 2 episodes, make sure to head over to our Spotify and check them out. Again, we're joined by Matt today. Nice to have you on, mate.
Yeah, it's been a good week of football, and we've got a really good, interesting episode today. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, very much so. And before we do get into it, just want to say, hopefully from next week onwards, we'll be getting some guests on. So that'll be good. We've obviously enjoyed doing these first few episodes. It's been a good dynamic between us two. But yeah, it'll be nice to get some other people on and get their opinions. So yeah, on to today's episode. So episode 1, we covered the Premier League. Episode 2, we obviously did the FA Cup. We talked about all the midweek fixtures. And I think it's only right we now bring you a Champions League episode. So instead of doing what we normally do and talking about the fixtures, talking about the players, everything that's gone on, we're going to be discussing our all-time Champions League 11. However, we'll have a slight twist in it. There's 2 rules, and I think it's fair to say we've found it pretty difficult with these 2 rules. So first one being maximum of 3 players from the same league. And the reason I've decided these rules, the reason I put it in is because otherwise I think we just have 7 or 8 players from the Liga, and it'd be pretty boring. So I wanted to make sure we have some contrast in our selections. And the other one is a maximum of 3 players from the same nation. Again, just to make sure we don't have Iniesta, Puyol, Busquets, Xavi, and we can reel all them off. They're obvious ones. Again, just wanted to make sure we do have some contrast in our selections. So yeah, for you guys that are watching right now, I don't know if you saw my Instagram story last night on the With a Minute to Go podcast account, but we are recording this on Zoom. So we'll be putting this up on YouTube for you guys to watch, as well as accessing it on Spotify. So yeah, very exciting for us. This is the first one that we've done on this platform, and we'll obviously be looking to continue this over the next few weeks. But without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to hand over to you for the first one, because obviously goalkeeper is your speciality. So before I get into mine, who have you gone for and why?
Well, you're spot on. You've made it incredibly hard. And, you know, we can tell the listeners that we had a bit of a debate last night, and I sent you a team that was an unbelievable team. And you said, well, you haven't quite stuck to the constraints of our hard to, and you know we've had a lot of discussions on it. It's pretty difficult, and I'll be honest. I'll just quick basis on how I've selected my teams. I basically went for the shoe-in players, the players that I definitely wanted to have in my team, and then I've had to build around it with no questionable decisions, I don't think, and no players that you know a bit left field, but you know maybe not would have been my shoe-in picks if I had to pick an 11 with no constraints. So with that in mind, my goalkeeper is Oliver Kahn, or Bayern Munich goalkeeper and Germany goalkeeper. Again, a fantastic goalkeeper, Champions League winner, 2000-2001 season with Bayern Munich, and also was man of the match in that game, something you don't always see. Yeah, he won a hell of a lot of awards during that time. He was the UEFA's best goalkeeper from 99 through to 2002, 4 seasons in a row. And, you know, that really suggests the longevity and the quality that he had. He won another Euro goalkeeper award, exactly the same sort of time frame, 99 through 2002. 3rd place in the Ballon d'Or in 2001 and 2. You know, we don't really see that that often. I can't remember any other goalies in recent time maybe that have been that high up on the Ballon d'Or. And maybe some of the listeners didn't get to see him play. Maybe he's a bit old for them, but he really was a fantastic goalkeeper. Typically a German goalkeeper, quite eccentric, but great quality. As I say, winner in 2001. Bayern Munich beat Valencia in the final. Also fantastic at the 2002 World Cup. I know we're talking about Champions League, but he actually won Player of the World Cup in a losing team, a team that lost the final, Germany. He won not only the best player, he won obviously the best goalkeeper, World Player of the Year runner-up, over 100 Champions League appearances. So for me, he ticks all the boxes, what we're looking for. And I think the basis of my team is Champions League winners and those that have played. I think only one of the players, without giving many away, has played less than 100 Champions League games. So I'll be honest, he wasn't my first choice, but after having a look around and having to look at how can I fit him in and teams and nationalities, he's a solid pick.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, can't really argue with them stats, can you, when it comes to goalkeepers? I will go on to mine. I had a short list of 2 goalkeepers that I was sort of in and R in between, and they're Manuel Neuer and Iker Casillas, 2 very, in my opinion, different goalkeepers. Got Neuer is a typical sweeper keeper of the modern era. Casillas obviously started early 2000s and he's come up. And I think he won Champions League in 2014 as well. So the longevity there is fantastic. But I've gone with the man, like I said, I think he epitomises the definition of sweeper keeper, Manuel Neuer. He's won 2 Champions Leagues with Bayern Munich, one in 2012-13 against rivals Dortmund. That was a big one. And then in more recent times, 2019-20. So yeah, I think in a Bayern team renowned for its attacking prowess, he's not often called into action, but when he is, he's he's always reliable. Just a fantastic shot stopper, but not also that. I think he almost plays as like an 11th outfielder. He's with the feet, he's fantastic, and that's what we look at these days with goalkeepers. I know, obviously, with your experience, that a big thing these days is distribution, being calm with the ball at your feet, things like that. And he's also very commanding of his area. Well, actually, not just of his area, of the whole half. So it was a tight one. I've got to be honest. Casillas, he's won quite a few Champions Leagues, been a very successful goalkeeper, but Manuel Neuer did edge it for me in that position. So that's the goalkeepers done. Very straightforward, very quick. We'll move on to the defenders. I'll tell you what, we'll go from right back, 2 centre backs, and into the left back. So I'll start with my right back. And there was only one player really that pops into mind straight away. And I had to go with this guy, such an important part of a successful Barcelona team. And like Neuer, I think he really revolutionised his position. A fullback that could attack and defend as equally of a high standard. And I think it's just such an iconic figure in modern football. It's got to be Dani Alves. I think his accomplishments with Barcelona have been fantastic. And there's not too many right backs, both going forward and in defence, that could match that. So yeah, it was pretty straightforward decision, no brainer for me. Dani Alves is in at right back.
My right back again. I've gone with a Germany and a Bayern Munich connection. Philipp Lahm. Now, obviously, he played his latter stages of his career more in a central midfield role, but certainly started and played a lot of games for Bayern Munich as a right back. Again, over 100 Champions League appearances. One Champions League winner in 2012, 2013 in that Bayern Munich Dortmund final that we spoke about. Team of the year, UEFA Team of the Year, 2006, 2008, 2012, 13, 14. So, a real staple of the Bayern Munich team and one of the better teams in the Champions League. Again, like I said, ended his career in central midfield, but certainly a great right back for both club and country. So that was my pick.
Yep, I think that's a fair decision. Very good player. I caught the back end of his career. You probably saw more of him, but yeah, class player. Definitely deserves to be in one of our teams. So I'm glad you picked him. Right, first centre back, Sergio Ramos, and 3 words I've written down really to describe this man: captain, leader, legend. He knows how to win. He's won the competition 4 times in 5 years with Real Madrid. All the assets of a great centre back. Good tackler, good in the air, good turn of pace, good with the ball at his feet, and he can score goals. And he's obviously pure aggression and desire to win. It shines through every time he plays for Real Madrid, and he loves that club. So I don't think you can overlook him when it comes to centre back. So yeah, he's in there for me as my first pick.
Yeah, my first pick. I know we've got the same on our second centre back, so maybe we can jointly talk about him. But my first pick is John Terry of Chelsea in England, a Champions League winner in 2012. Although he didn't play, he did wear the kit, so that counts. That counts for sure. Obviously, a runner-up as well in that ill-fated final in Moscow, where he slipped and missed the penalty that could have, won a Champions League for Chelsea that night. A real solid defender. I think the quote you just used is what Chelsea fans used to describe John Terry. Again, not necessarily universally liked, but I don't think anyone can argue the quality of the defender. Stats speak for itself. Again, the longevity of over 100 Champions League appearances, the majority of those as captain as well. Various appearances in Team of the Year. He actually won UEFA Champions League Defender of the Year 3 times within his career. No questions there about his ability and what he can bring to any team.
Yeah, just while we're on the centre backs, for me that was the hardest position to pick. A lot of different options, a lot of very good candidates that have captained their sides to Champions Leagues, multiple Champions Leagues. So yeah, these players should be privileged to be in our teams, I think. Right, you say we've got the same centre back. Actually, I've got him at left back.
Okay.
So my second centre back is Alessandro Nesta. One of the most elegant defenders of all time, I think. Fantastic on the ball, never afraid though to put in a meaty tackle when it was required. I think alongside Ramos, that would be just a superb partnership, a centre back. 2 Champions Leagues of AC Milan and just overall Champions League legend. So yeah, like I've just touched on, a lot of different names that could be in here. Like we said, we thought we had the same centre backs, but I've moved him to left back just to accommodate for him. But yeah, Nesta is my second centre back.
Okay, well, I'll ruin your left back slot now. My second centre back, and to be fair, he played a lot of his career as a full back as well, but also a dominating centre back, and that's Paolo Maldini. What a career he had. He was at AC Milan from '84 through to 2009. Over 600 appearances for AC Milan, just quite incredible. He won the Champions League 5 times. I think a couple of those were back in the old format of the European Cup in the late 80s, early 90s. But 5 times winner is an unbelievable achievement, and just the longevity of playing that long at the top level. He actually got man of the match in the 2003 final, which I can remember. I mean, you will not, but it wasn't the greatest final. It was Milan and Juventus, and it was at Old Trafford. And actually, Juventus were a lot better on the night, and probably should have won the game. But he was superb defensively, and I think it was Dida in goal for AC Milan, made some great saves, and they actually won it on penalties in the end. But again, a real Champions League legend, the longevity of playing at the top level. He's playing in at centre back for me because A, he can play there, and B, I've got a left back that I cannot leave out for me. So that was my second centre back.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I wouldn't have seen much of him in his prime. I would have only been like 5 or 6 when he retired. But just looking at his stats, looking at a few compilations on YouTube and what he's won, it's a no-brainer to have him in. And you just touched on the European Cup. Most of these selections, or all of them, are from the Champions League era. Obviously, he carried over both the competitions. But yeah, any of you older people watching, you can remember some better players from 60s, 70s and onwards. Yeah, we're just going to be sticking in the Champions League era. So that's, I think, early 90s onwards. But yeah, you're giving away my left back, Maldini. He's got to be in there for me. I had to fit him in somehow. And yeah, a big emphasis with my team. Obviously, you said as long as they won the Champions League, they've got to be in there. For me, it's, if you can play with the ball at your feet. A lot of the older school centre backs just wouldn't really quite cut it for me. Things like hoofing the ball, So yeah, they've got to be in my team if they're decent with the ball at their feet. So yeah, we've had the first 5 players of our teams gone pretty quick.
Well, I haven't done my left back yet.
Are we not?
We haven't.
Right,
No.
go on. No, you're right. You're right. We haven't. Yeah.
Now, I mean, I didn't. Maybe like John Terry, I didn't necessarily want to have him in my team, but I don't think I can not have him in my team, and that's Ashley Cole. I know, but arguably the best ever left back, English left back, one of the best ever in the world for me. And what I've watched, I watched him in his young years at Arsenal, and then obviously made that move across London. A very successful move at the end of the day. You can't argue with that. But Champions League winner in 2011, 2012, runner up on 2 occasions, once with Arsenal, once with Chelsea. You know, you made UEFA Team of the Year again, over 100 Champions League appearances. You know, I think you asked a lot of the top players. It's the one defender that they really struggled up against. Remember some great battles, Ronaldo against Ashley Cole over the years, both when he was at Arsenal and at Chelsea, at Man United, Chelsea. Sorry, yeah. So I mean, I don't necessarily want to have him in my team, but again, the constraints of this this selection, he's in. A great player though, and I think for me personally, I think my back five is solid. They're not going to concede goals against any front three, and that's, you know, build that solid spine on my team.
That's a fair pick. I think obviously, if you guys can't tell already, we're both Arsenal fans. We're trying our best to put that bias aside, but sometimes it does seep out, especially with the Ashley Cole sort of things. But yeah, I'm glad he's in there. You know, can't argue with what he's done in his career, and definitely, easily the best English left back that I can remember anyway of recent times. So yeah, now we'll move on. Halfway through, we didn't want to forget the scout this week. That's a big part of the podcast. That's a big feature. Also, although we're talking about the Champions League mainly, we did want to include the scout. So look at obviously the one player that did well last week, and the one player that we think will do well this week in the Premier League. So I'll let you go first on this one.
Yeah, my player from last week is an obvious one, and that was Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. First full start, I think, back, or second full start back after just an enforced break for personal issues, and his first Premier League hat-trick. You know, much needed goals for Arsenal. In a crazy game. I won't go too much, but a crazy game where Arsenal 4 up and then end up hanging on at 4-2. But you know, well taken hat trick. Only his 6th, 7th, and 8th Premier League goals of the season, which for him is, you know, is not to the levels that maybe he's set. But you know, it's been a difficult season for him. But hopefully, he can now kick on. Although, judging on last night's performance, maybe not. But yeah. I'll just say I did pick these before last night's games, in which he did miss a couple of really good chances. But yeah, really good week for him and a really good week for Arsenal.
Yeah, well, exactly. You know, we know what he can do. We've seen it for the last 2.5 years since he signed, since his very first game he scored against Everton. So it's been obviously a very disappointing year for us Arsenal fans watching him struggle, and as a result the team struggle. So yeah, nice to see him back with a hat-trick. I think it's his first Premier League hat-trick. So my player from last week, maybe slightly surprising, maybe not. I've gone with Jay Rodriguez. Goal and assist in Burnley's. I think it's fair to say shock 3-0 win away at Palace. I mean, I couldn't call that game before the game started, but I definitely wouldn't have said 3-0 to Burnley. I mean, they don't score too many goals at the best of times, but 3-0 away from home. Didn't see that coming. Scored a very important goal. I think it's fair to say after 10 minutes to make it 2-0, just to give that, you know, extra bit of comfort in their lead, which I think they needed. And Dyche said that after the game that was a big goal. And then Matt Loughton's goal, fantastic volley. He played a nice little ball into Rodriguez, a nice little chip over the top back to him. He smashed it home early in the second half for the third goal. So yeah, good performance from Jay Rodriguez. Big week for Burnley. They didn't lose in midweek to Fulham. I think that was the most important thing. I think looking at the table, they're safe now. So yeah, big week for Burnley, big week for Jay Rodriguez.
Right. My player of this week is Fulham's Josh Maja. First of all, a massive game from tomorrow night. Sheffield United at home in the late kickoff, the 8 o'clock kickoff. I think if Fulham have harbouring any expectations or aspirations to stay in this league, 3 points tomorrow is an absolute must against the bottom team. You lost heavily last time out against West Ham. Fulham have had a good week. That got a surprise 2-0 win at Everton. And obviously Josh Maja's first 2 Premier League goals. Great time to get him 2 real poachers finishes as well, just being in the 6-yard box right time. And that was a really good result for them. And then a draw in the week with Burnley, which you just touched upon. I don't think it's the best result for either of them. And, I think Burnley probably, happier with the point and where they are in the table. But Fulham, again, if Fulham are going to get anywhere near survival this year, I think Josh Maja is going to be the one who's going to get the goals to get them the point. So I think a big weekend for him, and I think it's a game that he can certainly notch in and hopefully get them 3 points.
Yeah, very, very impressed with him this week. I think Fulham were lucky that Calvert-Lewin wasn't playing. That's a huge loss for Everton there. So I think that's probably a big contributing factor as to why they won that game 2-0 in the end. So yeah, my player for this week, bit of a tough one. Lots of different options. I've gone with Ollie Watkins. He's home to Leicester. Now, you could look at that and say that'll be a tough fixture. But I do back Villa to get something, if not a point, maybe 3 points. He's been in very good form recently with the attacking force: Grealish, Bertrand Traore, Barkley, and obviously Watkins. I think they're tough to stop for any team, as Arsenal found out a couple of weeks back. So yeah, backing him to get maybe a goal, maybe an assist, at least a goal contribution, and Villa to beat Leicester in that one. Yeah. So that's the end of the scout for this week. We'll address how that went in next week's episode. Hopefully not too badly. But yeah, we'll move on to the midfielders. So, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'm good to start. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so my formation is a 4. So it'd be 3 in midfield, and then 3 up front. So my first midfielder is Clarence Seedorf. Played for a lot of teams, played for Real Madrid, played for Inter Milan, but mostly and well known, played for AC Milan. Did actually start his career as Ajax as well and won a Champions League with them. A beast of a midfielder. Won 4 Champions Leagues and was runners-up in a 5th as well. Incredible midfielder. I'll be honest, I didn't watch loads of his career. But he's won Champions Leagues at every club he's been at: Ajax, Real Madrid, and at Milan as well. So a great midfielder. Play again over 125 appearances in the Champions League. Won UEFA's best midfielder in 2007. A real box-to-box midfielder, getting on the ball, wanting to play. Great for my team.
Yeah, no, agreed. Very good player. It had to be in there, I think. Okay, I've gone with a couple of tactical picks here: Xabi Alonso and Steven Gerrard. Xabi Alonso is going to be sitting slightly deeper of the two. So it's a 4-4-2 formation. I have Xabi Alonso in the CDM, Gerrard just in front of him. But before any of you guys point out that I've had more than 3 Liga players, I'm taking his Liverpool version. I'm going with that. So obviously he did win the competition twice in his career, but we're going to focus on Liverpool in 2005. That fantastic comeback in Istanbul where they were 3-0 down, and within 5 minutes they got back to 3-3. So yeah, just fantastic player. Calmness personified. Obviously, I think he got the equalising penalty. No, he scored the rebound, and he's just instrumental in that Champions League campaign for Liverpool. So yeah, that is my first midfield pick.
Yeah, my second one is again another Syria-based player, and that's Andrea Pirlo. Two-time Champions League winner with AC Milan, played in the competition as well for Juventus. Obviously, now currently Juventus manager, Mr. Cool, a dead ball specialist. You know, I know it wasn't Champions League, but I think about some unbelievable performances in the 2012 Euros, particularly against England, and that little chip Panenka penalty that he took. Just what a player! A real great combination with Seedorf. Seedorf going on and making the box, and him just behind him. You know, pulling the strings in midfield, finding the passes, and when you see the front three or front four, then you'll know, you know, there's definitely going to be goals in this team.
Yeah, I think that's interesting that we've both picked a couple of players that are better playing alongside each other rather than just individuals. So yeah, I touched on my second pick, Steven Gerrard, one of the best box-to-box midfielders the game has seen. Popped up, scored some fantastic goals at important times in the Champions League, and I think it's fair to say he's probably the only player in this team that is in there on an individual performance, and that's got to be the 2005 final in Istanbul. I think he's just got to be in there. Got him back in the game with a great header to make it 3-1. Won the penalty that Alonso missed, but then scored the rebound. So yeah, he was massive in that, and he was massive all the way through the competition. So yeah, he dragged Liverpool back into that game, and for that reason,
I think that the game earlier in the Olympiacos game, which everyone knows the famous commentary from, but you know that I think that without knowing it off the top of my head, I'm sure they were in a situation where they were after 3 games, they were basically out. They had to win their last 3 group games, and they did it, and they had to win by 2 clear goals, and they were winning 2-1 and 2-0. Then it went 2-1, and he scores a late goal, and then they go on this great run. And I'll be honest, it's not the best Liverpool team that won that 2005 final, and they certainly weren't better than Milan player for player. That, you know, but when you have special players like you mentioned, you've always got a chance. And you know, being 3-0 down, you think there's no chance, but actually when you've got someone like him on the pitch, you just never know. And you know, I can think of other games off topic, the West Ham final in the FA Cup the year after, exactly the same scenario where, you know, they were not down and out, but you know, they were very close to losing that game with not long left, and he pops up and, you know, drags his team over the line. And that is what a true great is, aren't they? When they can, you know, put the rest of the players on their back and carry them over the line like he did.
Well, exactly. Couldn't have said that better myself if I tried. So yeah, that's exactly why he's in the team. Who's your right? I think that's the midfield 2. I think we're going with.
Yeah.
So who's your next player?
Yeah. So my next one is my number 10, playing off the forward. He's the only player in my team that had not played 100 Champions League games, which when I looked up, I was a little bit shocked about, I'll be honest. But it's Zinedine Zidane. Now, he's in my team. First of all, he is a legend for me and an unbelievable player, and he's in my team for that goal and that Champions League winning goal that he scored against Bayern Leverkusen at Hampden Park. And what a goal that is, to score a goal like that on that sort of stage. Just incredible goal from an incredible player. You know, I grew up watching him on Sky La Liga with some just incredible goals. And I say, the only one not to play 100 games, only scored 14 Champions League goals, which again I was a little bit shocked about. But what a player! World Cup winner, European Championship winner. You know, again won that Champions League 2001, 2002. Was runner-up twice with Juventus before he moved to Real Madrid. Won the Ballon d'Or in '98 when France won the World Cup. You know, but he had 32 assists in the Champions League. You know, that's the sort of player he was. But again, a scorer of great goals, and a fantastic player that, you know, it'd be great to have him in my team.
Yep, you know, can't really argue with that, to be fair. Right, my next pick may be slightly left field, but I'll tell you what I'm going with here. I'm going with obviously the 4-4-2 with the CDM and the CM, and then this guy I'm about to mention will be on the right wing. They'll have a left wing and 2 strikers, so it's a fairly attacking team. Just had to try and fit in all the players that I could. But yeah, on the right side, Arjen Robben. So yeah, wonder of a left foot, instrumental in Bayern Munich winning that 2012-13 Champions League. I think he got an assist to set up Mandzukic for the first goal, and then he scored an 89th minute winner, and he got man of the match. So yeah, for that he's got to be in there. Obviously, I would have had Messi in, but rules are rules. So minor league players are used up elsewhere. Maybe again that's controversial, and a lot of people have got to say, "Oh, you got to have Messi in a Champions League 11." But I've gone with this guy purely for that game and that season really. So yeah, that's my other midfield pick.
Right, we're going to the front three now. Well, I've got front three. Yours is
yeah. You can make it into that, I guess, with mine.
So on the right side of my front three is you can't have a Champions League team without having Lionel Messi, and that was the, when I built my team, 2 players were the first 2 in, and one of them was Lionel Messi. I'm not sure how anyone can have a team without him, but you have, so we'll go with that. 4-time Champions League winner, Ballon d'Ors coming out of his ears, 150 appearances, 120 goals. What a player. He could be in it for that one game against Bayern Munich where Jerome Boateng's still trying to get off the floor. Although Davinson Sanchez did a great impression the other night.
Good point. Yeah.
Against Everton. But what a player. What do you say about him? I don't know. I mean, him and one others, I'm trying to do the research for him, and actually you don't need the stats because we've all seen the quality. I was talking to someone this week after the Barcelona PSG first leg. Oh, Messi bottled it. Excuse me? How many times has he Barcelona have been a great team for a long time. They're going through a transitional spell at the minute and things aren't going right. And, there's lots of stuff off the field, I think is a problem. And, we're well documented. Yeah. Lionel Messi doesn't necessarily want to be a Barcelona player anymore. And actually, that's probably been labelled at him and why maybe people don't hold him in as high regard because he hasn't played outside of Spain. But I think he has ambitions to. Maybe it's a little bit late in his career, but I think he does want to, and actually maybe that this summer might come off and we might see him maybe in the Premier League. Certainly, I know he's had a lot of interest from Manchester City, but again, just an incredible footballer. He's up there, with the greatest footballers. I've been really lucky to see him play live on numerous occasions. Mostly away from home, but also to see him once in the Camp Nou, and what a player. A privilege to watch, someone that you would really pay money to go and watch. And anyone who's seen him live and has seen him at his best and scoring goals, as much as I didn't want him to score them on the evening, just an unbelievable player. And again, I haven't counted up how many Champions League winning goals he scored, but he definitely scored a couple against Man United. He definitely scored twice. I think he scored at least 2 or 3 against Man United in 2 Champions League finals and against Juventus. When you score in that consistently in the Champions League finals, you can't not have him in your team. But you still didn't, so.
Yeah, well, you know what? You've sold him there to me very nicely. So now I'm regretting that decision a bit. But I think I'm moving on to someone that I think we can both agree should be in this team, and that's Cristiano Ronaldo. In my opinion, the greatest Champions League player of all time, the best player of all time, in my opinion. Another maybe controversial opinion there, but stat says it all really, and he's been in the Champions League team this season for 6 consecutive years, starting from 2013. All-time record Champions League goal scorer, and 4 Champions Leagues at Real Madrid. So he's done it all. You can't really disagree with what he's achieved, and he definitely deserves to be in there. I think he is in your team.
He is.
I think that's one thing we can agree on there.
Well, again, you can't have a Champions League team without having Cristiano Ronaldo in it. Yeah. How amazing would it be for them 2 in the same team? I toyed with Ronaldo being as my central striker, but actually coming in his prime, Real Madrid, coming in off the left. That's how I went with me. Like you said, 5-time winner, over 130 goals, the top scorer in Champions League history. The sheer, his energy, the determination, the work rate, the desire to want to get his teams there. I think obviously he's moved now to Juventus in the last couple of years, and the aim is to win it there. Whether that will come off, I'm not so sure. They obviously not had the greatest week this week, but just what a player, and the goals again. Privileged to watch him live and in the Champions League and do some serious damage to Arsenal. But just a fantastic player, and a serial goal scorer and a serial winner.
Yeah, I think you can probably remember that 2016 Euros where he got sort of injured, but they went on to win it. But he was pretty much managing the team from the sidelines. So I think he's definitely one to look out for in the next few years in terms of management. Not sure where, but I think he'd be a good fit.
I think for any footballer, just to see the effort and the desire and the hard work and the, he doesn't have a day off. He'll never have a day off. His goals, he's done everything in the game. He's won everything in the game, bar the World Cup. And again, maybe that's a little bit too far for Portugal, but but he still has targets and goals every day, every season. And let's be honest, not often does he fall short of them.
Yeah. Well, the big thing you look for in players like Messi's, Ronaldo's, just thinking back, people like R9, you want your longevity. I think with Messi and Ronaldo, it's been said many times, but I just want to say it again, we're lucky to be able to watch these two players at the same time, and we're lucky to experience the amount of unbelievable moments that we have with these two guys. So yeah,
we could spend a whole episode talking about just them two, and the debates we could have all day on, are they the greatest? And we'll talk about Pele, Maradona, and obviously it's been brought up recently with the passing of Maradona. But for me, again, I didn't watch them players play live, but I'm not so sure that they would have the impact on the modern day game that Ronaldo and Messi has had, and that, say, the longevity, the amount of goals they scored, the things they've won. And yeah, they look at Ronaldo. Ronaldo's done it in England. He's done it in Spain, and now he's doing it in Italy, and he's winning individual and team awards everywhere he goes.
Yeah, it's another interesting point. I think I've always thought about if you took a team, one of the better teams, say from the 50s or 60s, and paired them up against the team now from the 2010s or 2020s now we're in, how would they fare? Because obviously a lot has changed in terms of sports science, fitness, looking after your body, recovery. Obviously, I know a lot of them players back then would be after the game, smoking and drinking, whatever. Ronaldo is just, in terms of his recovery and dedication and everything to do with football, is just unbelievable. So yeah, that would be an interesting one to see.
It is crazy how, well, it's over a long time, but the differences in sport and preparation and the knowledge that we now know that we didn't know, back then, and how people look after themselves. And actually, if it was a level playing field, and today, those players may well be up to the levels of these guys, and with the nutrition and the fitness and the conditioning side of things. But as I say, for me, those two are very hard to split. We could spend all day talking about them, but they are the greatest for me.
Yeah, definitely, I'd agree with that for sure. Maybe still I just didn't see Maradona or Pele, but what we've seen, two ridiculous players. Right, enough about them two. Let's move on to, well, I've got two strikers. I'm not sure about you. What have you got?
Well, I'm on my one striker. So
right, okay, yeah. Okay. Well, I'll go with mine first. So he didn't actually win the Champions League at Arsenal, but I've gone with his Arsenal sort of phase of his career because I can't have too many La Liga players, as I've already discussed. So Thierry Henry. So yeah, never won the Champions League at Arsenal, but it's well known, early 2000s, he was the man. He was the best player in the world for a certain time. So yeah, completely unplayable. And I think actually, if Lehmann didn't get set off in the 2006 final, he probably would have won it with Arsenal. But yeah, what a player. Just, I can't say it enough. I wasn't lucky enough really to see him live. Obviously, I know you were. So yeah, disappointing one for me, that is. But yeah, just a quick word on Henry there. What a player.
He is my striker, so there we are.
Is it right? There you go then.
He is my striker, and again, he was another shoe-in. The GOAT for me. I'm very biased. I don't care. I'm going to be biased. A privilege to be able to go and watch him live, not week in, week out, but as often as I could, and a fantastic player. And I watched a couple of videos recently, and I don't think people really realise how good he was. You know, we see the goals he scored, but actually it wasn't the goals he scored or the goals he assisted. It was his just general play, the skill, the strength, the swagger about him. You know, like you said, didn't win it Champions League at Arsenal, you know, and then had to move on to win the Champions League, and he did. You know, like you said, UEFA Best Team 2001, 2, 3, 4. That tells you everything you need to know. European Golden Boot winner 2003, 2004, 2004, 2005. He was the best player in the world then, you know, and how he never won or was recognised as that was just crazy. Maybe because he was playing for Arsenal at the time and he wasn't playing for a bigger club, or you know, or a more prestigious club. Your Barcelona's, your Real Madrid's. I think one year Pavel Nedved won it, which he won the Ballon d'Or, and actually, yeah, Pavel Nedved was a great player, but I'm not sure they really looked at the Premier League that year, because Henry ripped up the Premier League year on year, and in Europe as well, to be fair. You know, the goal he scored against Real Madrid when Arsenal's run to the final. You know, he scored against Juventus in the semi-final, in the quarter-final, sorry. You know, what a player. And, you know, for me, I'm looking at my front three there, and that's goals. Ronaldo, Messi, Henry. Wow.
Yeah, ridiculous. I think us Arsenal fans are still a little bit aggrieved on that Ballon d'Or with Nedved, but we won't go into that too much. Right, my other striker, because I've got two up top with Thierry Henry. Hard to believe he's only won the Champions League once, this guy, but he did come runners up in 2013, losing out to Bayern with Dortmund. That's Robert Lewandowski. Recent years, he has been fantastic. With Henry, I wasn't sure whether to have him in, just on the basis I didn't see him, so it wasn't like a guarantee for me. I've seen Lewandowski; he's got to be in there for me. So right now, he's easily in the top 3 best strikers in the world, if not the best. And his numbers in the Champions League are just ridiculous. So yeah, obviously he just won it in 2020 with Bayern Munich. I think that's a fair decision to have him in for my team in the last pick.
What a player! I'm looking at his stats now because I know they're insane. He's been at Bayern Munich for 7 seasons. 6 of those he's got over 20. You know, 4 of them he's got 30 plus goals in that, and that's Bundesliga alone. That's just in the league. You know, you're not including his goals in Europe and in cup competitions. Like you said, he's only won it once, but I think he's someone who's got better with age. He's just a serial goal scorer, isn't he? You know, he's a couple of times he's got 4. I remember that game for Dortmund. I think it was 2013. He scored 4 against Real Madrid in Dortmund's run to the final, I think. Just an incredible goal scorer, and like you said, probably is the best striker at the minute in the world. I guess you probably put up Haaland up there. You probably put Mbappe up there as well. Two strikers have had unbelievable weeks, but at the other end of their career, you know, Lewandowski, you know, he's not young. You know, 32 now, but still scoring goals for fun. Okay, yes, he's playing for the best team. Oh, wow. I've just seen his 210 league games for Bayern Munich, 187 goals.
That's
you know, okay, he's playing for the best team in Germany, and there is some questionable sides in the Bundesliga, but that is an incredible record. All right, I know it's league games, not Champions League, but I'm sure his Champions League record isn't so bad either. What a player.
I think you just mentioned Mbappe and Haaland. And a couple of fantastic players there to look forward to watching over the next 10 years, those two. I also think, just taking my bias cap off, maybe Harry Kane is up there as well. What a player. I don't like to say it too much, but, you know, if you're looking at it as a neutral, you can't argue with his stats in the Premier League either. So...
Won't make any comments on that.
Is that... I think that's fair. Is that... Do you have
no, I think that's me, I think. Yeah, we just
well, same with me.
So do you want us to just read our teams through again, just to? So
go on.
Yeah,
you
run through. I was just going through. Obviously Oliver Kahn in goal, back 4: Lahm, Terry, Maldini, and Cole. Seedorf and Pirlo in front, and then a front 4 effectively: Messi and Ronaldo off the wings, Zidane just behind Henry, and my captain probably be John Terry or Maldini, either or. They can fight it out for the R band. But yeah, pretty formidable team.
Yeah, what team? Can't argue with that. Well, I say that, but I am, because I'm going to go with my team. I think it's better. Manuel Neuer in goal, right back Dani Alves, two centre backs Ramos and Nesta, left back Maldini, CDM Xabi Alonso, and just in front is Gerrard. Right wing Robben, left wing Ronaldo, and then two strikers, Henry on left and Lewandowski on the right. Couple of fantastic teams there. I think we could be debating all night about who to have in. I think it's been more of an interesting one, just having those two rules we've applied. Definitely a couple of questionable players.
Here's a question
like
for
I said,
you:
look,
is Maldini going to deal with Messi? If I've got Messi coming in off the left, is he going to be able to deal with him?
I don't know, because can anyone do Messi? Is the real question. Messi and Ronaldo.
Do you know what? That is a great question, and I'll back that question up with, why is he not on your team then?
That's I mean, there's nothing I can say to that. That's a fair point. Yeah, Messi on another day would be getting in my team, but I think who my three La Liga players were Ronaldo, Dani Alves, and Ramos. Maybe I could have taken Dani Alves out, put in someone else, but I'll go with them. On another day, Messi would be in there. I don't think anyone would argue with that. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun this episode. It's been nice to record it for the first time, and obviously we're going to stick out on YouTube. So yeah, if you are listening on Spotify, go and check out YouTube, and if you are watching on YouTube, also check out on Spotify. It's two different platforms now for you guys to listen and watch. So yeah, I've really enjoyed this debate. Hopefully, like I said, we can get some guests on and have maybe similar discussions to this, because this is sort of the route I do want to take the podcast down. So yeah,
I think it's been good. Like you said, the first 2 weeks, talking about some current things with the current games that have gone on in the previous game weeks, but just to delve into something a little bit different now and see what our thoughts are. And like you said, there's been some similarities in the team. There's been some different thoughts on different positions, and maybe some people, not naming names, that might want to change their team. But certainly, I'm happy with my team, and I'd back that team to do well.
For sure. I think we've created some nice talking points there. And obviously, our aim is just to give you guys a platform to come and speak. So anyone that does want to talk, you can get in contact with us on email with aminuteofpod10@outlook.com, or give us a follow on Twitter. We'll probably follow you back, and on Instagram DMs @WAMTGpod. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously, I've mentioned we're going to be on YouTube now. That's a big thing for us. Yeah. Hope you guys have enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you all next week.